Thank you guys for joining me again. Um, I realized that there was a couple dreams that I hadn't shared yet, and so I wanted to take a minute and go ahead and try to share some of these dreams that I feel like the Lord has given me some insight into over the last couple of years. Um, Again, my name is Kaylee. This is just me trying to be obedient to the Lord and trying to share all that He's given me so that I can continue from here on out being able to share what He is doing in my life. And so I just want to say thank you for joining me, and I just pray that you would hear God's heart through these, and that above all else that it would encourage you to take each one of these individually to God, and so that you can get the personal revelation that He wants to give you. So this first dream was from December 20th, 2020. This one was very interesting. It's kind of short and sweet, but I was in an airplane with some friends, and we were all having fun, but it was like we were on a mission. They opened up the back hatch of the airplane, and people just started running and jumping out of the airplane, just jumping out of the back. And I guess I didn't think anything of it, and I just ran and jumped out as well. It didn't. It. I didn't look to see if I had a backpack on or if I had like a parachute or anything. I literally just took off running and jumped off. Jumped out of the plane and just started flying and like falling down. And then I realized, oh, well, I hope I have a parachute. And then I turned around and pulled it, and I did have my own parachute. So then I glided to the ground, taking in the scenery all the way down, and then I hit the ground running. It was that's what I really remember from this dream. I just came right in and just hit the ground running. There was no, I didn't fall. I didn't get caught up in anything. I just hit the ground running. And then I ditched the parachute and was like, I don't have any time for this. I don't have any time to waste. And then we were all running off on this mission. And so I feel like it's kind of a self-explanatory word that it could pertain to just about any of the promises that you're waiting on God for. But I really do feel like He was saying that sometimes you just gotta, go for it. Like, just take the shot, just run and jump, headfirst into what He's calling you to do. And also that you're going to hit the ground running, so kind of be prepared or be preparing along the way, so that when you do find yourself in that situation, that you are prepared for it and you can hit the ground running, and just glide right into what He has for you. So that was kind of a fun one that I thought I would share. This one was on February 21st, 2021, and this one I woke up from, and it's all about weddings. So again, take this to the Lord and see what He wants to reveal to you personally. But I know on my level, I'm definitely in my marriage season and in that preparation season of getting ready for marriage and what does that look like and all of these things. And so this word came at a really good time to just kind of confirm that for me. So I wanted to share that. So it was in this dream, I was in a bunch of different weddings, and I was scrambling around trying to get to all of them. It was like there was one building that had all of these weddings were going to be in, but they were all happening at the same time or on the same day. And I was also still trying to play these different sports that I was in, and so it was I would run and go play volleyball in all my volleyball attire, and then I'd be changing out of my volleyball attire and putting on this wedding attire to be a bridesmaid, and then run down to walk down the aisle with whoever I was walking down the aisle with, for this person that was getting married. And it was just and then after that wedding would end, right when they were, pronounce you husband and wife, and then they would kiss, and then all of a sudden, I would run back out, and then I was in basketball games, and then I was in all my basketball attire, and then after the basketball game, then I would have to, change back into a different wedding attire and do another wedding. And it was just this back to back to back to back thing where it was wedding after wedding after wedding after wedding. And it was crazy. Everything was happening really fast. And then I feel like I woke up and this is what the Lord told me, and he said, it's your wedding season. You're putting on new garments, garments of royalty and love as you enter into wifehood. You're good. Starting here, I'll tell you what I think and drawing close to you in the days ahead. You are in transition, my dear child. Transition that is taking you from one place to another, from glory to glory. I will not take that which is yours and not replenish it tenfold. Daughter, I want you to know that transition is coming. Transition is imminent. There is no need to run away, for I have handpicked your whole next chapter just for you. It is lined with my heavenly glory. As I place it upon your back, you will begin to relax. Follow my lead, for where I am taking you, you have never gone before. Be in tune with my spirit, and I will lead you beside still water. You will have everything you've dreamed of and everything your heart and your soul will need. Come now with me and follow me. So I just really felt like that was a dream and a word from God, like confirming, like, yes, we are in our marriage season. If this word is for you, if you know, this is going to be confirmation for you. The Lord has already told you this before, or He's beginning to speak this to you, that you are in your season of marriage, or kingdom marriage, or discovering your spouse, and that I think it's going to come quickly. I think it's not too long after that other dream where like you're going to hit the ground running. That like as you come into this marriage promise, like you're going to hit the ground running. You're going to go. It's just going to be easy transition. You're going to run right into it, and like there's going to be a lot of these weddings, a lot of these marriages like taking place. Like it's not just me, it's not just you. It's like all of us. Like I really feel like God's bringing so many different spouses together in this time. And so I think that was kind of what the dream was just confirming, is like, yes, we are in our marriage season, and God's got it all picked out for us, and like it's going to be easy flowing, easy, moving forward, and that then after that was quickly like you are in a transition series, or like in a transition season, and that definitely played out for me, because this last season has definitely been my transitional season, and I can feel it now. Being able to look back and be like, okay, I can see what you're doing, God. You were preparing me in that transitional season to be ready to hit the ground running, to be ready to, continue forward with this promise that you have for me. So I hope that is encouraging to you, and like that you take it to the Lord, and that He speaks to you on that in a personal way, in a way that makes sense to you. And if this is something that is for you, then be encouraged. Like you are in your marriage season, and it's all going to come together, and it's going to be for the glory of God. It's going to be beautiful. I'm very excited to see what God does with all of His kingdom marriages that He's got stored up. So let's see, another dream that I had was on May 2nd, 2021, and I feel like this one was a little more intense. This one is a little heavier, got a little more weight to it. So again, it's one of those that I don't normally like to share, but feel like I need to be obedient and do it. So in this dream, I was back in my old house, not in the house that we are in now, but like the house that I lived in for a while when I was in high school, and in the backyard of the house that we were in, it had like this really pretty river that would flow right behind the house, and it was beautiful. It was so peaceful. But in the dream, the river that is like very peaceful, very easy flowing, not like a big crazy river or anything. But in the dream, this river was like behind the house. It was just getting bigger and bigger and wider, and like almost like waves were like coming through it. It was like really like rapids, coming through this river that in my mind, I'm like, that's not normal. That's not what the river was. And so it was like this rapid river, just water just flowing like crazy. Right next to the house, like it just kept getting closer because it was getting wider. It was getting closer to the house. And so I had leaned over the edge of the deck railing, to kind of like look, to get a closer look at where all of the water was coming from, because like it didn't make any sense that it was getting bigger. And there was a lot of water, and it was like running all over, and then it like started to kind of run under the house, like just like this full-blown river running into the house, under the house, everything, like kind of under the deck. And so I went to step on the edge of the deck, and the water had like started to kind of like create its way underneath of the deck, and so with one step onto the deck, the entire deck just fell off. Like it was almost like a tsunami, like just came through, and it just, the entire thing got ripped off the house, and it fell right into the river, and it just like washed it away. And I could see like all of the wooden boards and all of the handrails and all of these things, and just like bobbing and floating through this river. And I was like, oh my goodness, I like almost just fell into this river. This is crazy. And so I had my parents had ran outside. We were standing in the hallway, kind of like putting on our jackets, to come out to see, like, I guess it might, they were going to try to fix it or whatever. I stood around seeing if I could help, but I realized like there wasn't much that I could do, so I had gone back into the house. And what really caught my attention was like the fall decorations that were on the door, because this was in May, and then like the fall decorations, like why would the fall decorations have been out, And so I remember like stopping and staring at it and being like, that's weird. Why is our fall wreath up? Like, why do we have pumpkins? Like all of these things. I'm like, this is weird. It's not fall yet. But it was like one of those things where I really felt like that was important, so I noticed it. Yeah, so I kind of feel like the Holy Spirit wanted me to look at the fact that we were in fall decorations, and so I feel like, let's see, when I was praying, I felt like I heard the Lord say that there's a fall of an empire. I asked if there was more, and if there were directions or steps that He wanted us to follow. And then I saw someone standing above me, like on a cliff, on like a ledge, and they like said to me, Kaylee, count to 3. And I somehow knew, like, as I counted to 3 that they were going to, like, push me off this ledge, so I, like, started counting really slowly, and I was like, 1, 2, and then, like, on the count of 3, they threw me over the ledge, and, like, I fell, it just fell all the way down, and then there was water at the bottom of it, and I saw myself just plummet right into the water, but then I popped back up. And then I could see the person standing up on the cliff above me, and I could like hear them yell down at me and say, it's only temporary. And then they just kind of like walked away and like left me down there. But like, it's only temporary is what they had said. And so I was asking the Lord, like, what is this about? And I heard him say something. I heard him say someone or she will retire. And there will be a momentary lapse in power. People have been looking to all of the wrong people to bring them out of this, or they have been holding on to another person to try to pull them out, but I will need my people to look to me now more than ever. The deck falling off the house and landing in the water is like what we will experience with the government. There will be a momentary lapse in power, and it will feel like mass chaos, but my people must look to me and keep their eyes on me, and they will not be concerned, just like I wasn't too concerned about the deck falling off. I asked God if there was instructions that He wanted to share. I felt like He showed me these huge, massive wooden doors begin to close, and as I had just happened to be on the inside of these big doors. It was like a big, massive meeting room, like with a big, long table, and like with chairs all the way around it, kind of like an executive meeting room. And I sat down, and there were a lot of like older men around me that like I didn't know who any of them were. But they looked like they were official or like really important people. Yeah, I didn't recognize any of them, but somehow in my spirit I knew that like someone or something had meant like the same night that someone retires, whoever this person is that's going to retire, or they're going to be asked to step down, or they're going to be removed from their office, they will have a big meeting. And that's, for me, like for us, that's not something we need to figure out. We don't have to try to figure out who it is or what it is or what it's going to look like. But I feel like what God was saying is like, I'm just giving you a timeline of these details so that you know what to be looking for. So I asked God like what was important in this, and He said like, don't stand down, sing my praises, and they will sing my praises. I am not sure who's coming into office. I don't know who's going to replace them. I don't really know what that's going to look like. But I feel like the Lord was saying like whoever it is going to be His choice, and they're going to be a clean, serving servant, like of the Lord. And like this is His doing, and He is the one that is replacing them, and it is going to be a good replacement kind of thing. I thought it might be a lady, but I'm not sure. I'm going to leave that up to the Lord. And, I feel like it was just, like everything in the dream was kind of just revolving around to pay attention to the timeline of whatever could be happening in the fall, whatever could be happening of this person falling and of this person being asked to step down or asked to leave or retiring, and then pay attention to who's going to take their place. And I feel like that is a very, very important, like very like special dedication thing from the Lord, that like that's when we're going to see a change, is in whoever this replacement is. They're going to have a very large impact. They're going to have they have God behind them, like they are God's appointed person. And so like it just, this feeling of like heaven is behind that person. Heaven is going to be behind whoever this replacement is, and we're going to see a lot change. We're going to see a lot of God's will be done through this person, through this willing vessel of the Lord's. And so I really just felt like, we're called to pray that like God's will be done, and whoever this person is, I pray that God is preparing them. He has prepared them, and that they are ready, and they are standing guard, and like that, that pray against any attacks of the enemy that would try to come against this happening, and just that the Lord's will be done. Is really kind of the feeling that I was getting with that one. Let's see, on June 18th, 2021, I had another very interesting dream, another kind of heavy dream. So I'm just going to go ahead and share it and pray that it, that the Lord guides my tongue and what needs to come out comes out. It was like in the dream I was discovering that I had this power within me, and it was kind of like as I was like lifting up my hands, I was like changing like the landscape and like the buildings around me and everything like that was like beginning to like lift off, and it was like I knew what was inside of me was like what was allowing that to happen. But it was like this whole area, it was like an old abandoned city almost kind of thing, and it was like it was all covered in fog, like you couldn't see it, it was dark out, it was really kind of creepy and scary, and like don't even know why I was there to begin with, but I didn't feel scared. I felt very empowered and like, okay, I know this is something I can do, and so I was there. But it was so interesting, it was so weird, because it was like I was battling this fog, like this evil fog, and it was dark out, and I started off small, like what looked like a spider webs, and like I would be able to dissolve the web and push the fog back, like so like it would like retreat away from me, and then eventually like the stronger and more powerful, like I was able to take on more and more and more, and like eventually I was like taking on this whole storm by myself. So I felt like I would like clench my hands together and like bring my hands up slowly, and I could like see the heavy weight as it was like being raised, and the buildings in front of me would rise up, and the ground was rising up, and all of this fog was like coming out of these buildings, and it all came out like it was pushing the fog out of the atmosphere, and eventually it kind of like, as it was like pushing itself out, it like kind of caught in itself, and it created this tornado. And it just like this tornado starts because all the fog was pushing into itself. So now you have a storm and this tornado. And then someone else showed up. I didn't really recognize who they were, but I jumped into their car. We drove away. But I got sucked into the storm. I don't know. Somehow, some way, I got sucked into the storm. And I remember holding onto the person and saying, "It's okay. Like it's going to be okay. I guess we're gonna have to take this path through hell, but we will be back. Like we are going through hell so that we can come back around." There was no fear in me, like I just knew like it was okay, like it wasn't like we were going to be staying in there, but that like we would have to go through hell to come back, to like make it through this kind of thing, but then we would be with Jesus kind of thing. So I don't really know like what happened there. We got swept into a river, and then I kind of woke up and just kind of was asking the Lord like what was going on. Like that's just kind of like a crazy intense dream, and I feel like this is kind of the clarity that he had given me is the fog is the plans of the enemy. You are destroying the plans of the enemy, the accuser. You are destroying the plans of the accuser. You are standing, or you are willing to stand strong and alone with God on your side to defend your friends and family and take down the accuser. You just have to get going first, and then you will see how it's all going to work together. And you will be a force to be reckoned with, especially with God on your side. He hears you. He hears your heart cries all the way up in the sky, and although it may feel unfair and like you're fighting this battle against the enemy all alone, He's there. He's your secret strength that is building inside of you. You have no idea what resides within you, because if you did, you wouldn't question the mystery that's happening around you. People need what you have. People need to be made aware that they can harness the same power within themselves. Isn't it funny how all you feel like you've been able to do lately is pray? Well, the secret sauce, that lives within each of my children is the awakening of the true power that lives within you. Your desire to grow will grow with you. Just slow down. Slow your roll. Take time in between. Keep seeking me for answers, and I'll show you the way. So, there's obviously some personal things in there, but I really feel like the idea behind it is that the Holy Spirit, or God that's in us, God within us, is like where our power comes from, where our authority comes from, and we don't have to be afraid of the storm. We don't have to be afraid of literally going through hell when we know who is within us, and knowing that He will fight for us, He is fighting with us, and that He is stronger and more powerful than anyone else, anything else that we will come in contact with, and that we have access to that. That is ours to harness. It is ours to use. It is ours to stand on. I just feel like that's so empowering to know that God is not only on your side, but He lives within you, and He's given you that same power, and we can begin to harness it, and we can call out those demons. We can stomp on the serpent's head. We can, come up against the plans of the enemy or the accuser. We can stand strong, and that authority and that power, can flow through us, and kind of harnessing that, and feeling it within your body, and being able to release it out into the world. And I just felt like that was at least an encouraging word for me to realize that that same power lives within me, and I can harness it, and God will teach me how to harness it. He will teach each of us how to use it and what it looks like for us. And we can destroy the plans of the enemy, and we are stronger together, and we are stronger with God on our side. So it was an interesting dream, to say the least. But I have one more dream that I wanted to share. This one is a bit lengthy, but it's also the most recent one, so I really felt like I needed to release this one, although it's also a little on the edge, I guess. So this one was on December 19th, 2021, and it was weird. I was on, everyone on our planet was beginning to, they're trying to leave the planet because some crazy weather thing had weather phenomenon was happening, and the atmosphere around us was beginning to change, and I was in this big huge house, and just full of windows, and we were kind of on top of this mountain or this hill, so we could see all of everything around us, and you can see the weather changing kind of in the distance, and I remember seeing looking out the windows, the weather, the just the atmosphere around us had begun to change, and it was looking kind of like a storm was brewing, and it was getting dark. It was looking a little scary, and then all of a sudden these people were trying to they just took off running, and they were trying to flee, get out of there, in mass amounts of people, just huge amounts of people trying to leave, and it was one of those things where it's what's going on, and then all of a sudden the house, or the windows of the house started to kind of not break, but they started to shrink, and so they would get smaller and smaller, and you could just kind of feel the whole atmosphere digging in deeper and putting on pressure, and it was just shrinking, and so it was so weird because let's see here. I'm so far off from where I'm trying to read, so I guess I'll just try to repeat it. That it was like as the windows were beginning to shrink, then like I looked outside the window and I saw like the different trees, like all of a sudden they just like went through all of the different seasons like in a flash of a second, like you can like kind of see a tree that's like their leaves look like a certain way when they're in the fall, and then their leaves look a certain way in the spring, and then there was snow on it, and then it was like dead. And so it like flashed through all of these seasons really quickly, and then all of a sudden it just kind of like it looked like it got the life sucked out of it, kind of thing, like it vacuumed its life out of it. And like that was like why the seasons were changing, is it like went from alive to like slowly dying, and then just like got the life sucked out of it. And so it was weird because it was like I knew that as the windows were like beginning to shrink, that like like the atmosphere was like sucking the life, and like that was what was happening, is the atmosphere was changing. It was like sucking the life out of our planet and like sucking the life out of the people. And like somehow I just knew that in the dream that like it was like our true atmosphere, like around our earth had like changed somehow, and like it was letting in some kind of gas, or like some kind of gas couldn't get out, and so like we couldn't breathe the air. Like the air was changing. Like we went from just being able to breathe like this normal oxygen, normal air, to like as the shrinking was happening and the sucking was happening, it was like sucking all of the like oxygen or like all of the air out. And so like things were beginning to die and like having the life sucked out of them, because the atmospheric pressure was like changing, and it was like kind of crazy. And so like the people that I was in the house with were like, they just happened to be some people that are like in the music industry, I guess. And there was another random lady there that was with us, and I guess she knew something that I didn't, and she had said like right away, like, oh, I know what's going on, like I have a plan, I know how we're going to survive it, or like I know how we're going to make it through this kind of thing. And so she had said like, here, follow me into like this other room, and like there were these like little beds, areas, whatever, and she was like, here, if you lay down here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to like transfer your consciousness like into like this other world. I'm going to like take what makes you you, like take your consciousness and like through this line, kind of thing, and then like transfer it out of you and put it in like this online world kind of thing, like a video game is kind of what I was picturing. But that world would only work if your body was like still alive, because like it wasn't actually your real world. It was just the world that like you could, kind of like go into. And she had said like, I know this will work because like as soon as I like transfer your consciousness, like your body will like reduce how much like air it needs, and all these scientific things of like pretty much it will like lower your heart rate and your blood pressure and all of these things to a level that like you will be able to survive with the new atmospheric pressure that was like changing around you, or like changing around us. Because like our body would pretty much be like asleep, but like it would still be alive, and so it was actually going to be able to like survive in this new atmosphere. But then like our consciousness was like still alive and well, and it's like in this new world kind of thing. And so like that's what she had said. She like gathered us all together and was like, gonna set us up on this thing, so like we could like transfer our consciousness so that like we could survive, so that like our bodies could survive here, but like then our minds would also, or our consciousness would still be able to be alive as well. So yeah, I feel like that was most of it, other than like just kind of the smell of like the pressure, like it smelled like a storm. I don't know, it's hard to explain. So super crazy, kind of weird dream. Had that on the 19th of December, and didn't really know what to think about it. Thought it was, an intriguing dream, but didn't really understand much about it. And then as soon as like the new year came around on the 1st of January, I felt like the Lord like really brought this back to my mind, and was like, let's like, he downloaded like, you're gonna see like this whole page that he like gave me all of this information on what this dream meant almost a month later. And so, I guess, and then the last thing is like the music people that I was in the room with ended up like it kind of a separate dream, but like I knew it was connected. Then like they ended up like releasing a gospel album, even though they were not Christian. They are not like in the Christian realm of music or gospel realm of music. You know, they're kind of their own band singing alternate music. But I would remember thinking like, oh, that's really weird. Like, why did they just release a gospel song or like a gospel album? So that was interesting, I guess. So anyways, I guess when the Lord brought this all back around to me in January, he told me like specifically that that like the band, the group music people, however you want to describe them, then like being what they represented in the dream was like the music industry, but also the entertainment industry, because like you know they're pretty much the same thing, like music and entertainment, pretty much the same thing. And there was at one point in the dream where like I was interacting with these members, and one of them was a little open in their sexuality, I guess. And so the Lord was saying like what I was experiencing is like the hunger of lust that this industry has, and that is what they have been producing, and what they continue to produce, and that it's the music industry or the entertainment industry is just really based off of lust. And there was, like each one of the band members, kind of represented something, and another band member had been like this really funny, easygoing kind of person, making me laugh and all these things. And so that person represented, how easily the industry just shrugs off that, like, it's no big deal that they're lustful and that they're power hungry, like that their desires are impure and that they really don't align with God's word. And that I feel like what God was saying is like, yeah, the desires are impure, they don't align with my word, and it was never God's intention for the entertainment industry to look like that. He's like, I want my children to find love and empowerment through the art of entertainment. I do not want them to find lust and power. So for me, I felt like that was really important. Like, God wants us. He's not saying like the entertainment industry or the music industry is bad or like sinful, but it's what they are portraying. It is what they are giving out, I guess. And He wants His children to find love and empowerment through these areas. And right now, what we are finding is lust and power, and that came through clearly with each one of those band members. And then he said, the storm that you could feel brewing and could sense was coming was indeed changing of the atmosphere. Like, the atmosphere was truly changing. And so, like, in the real world, I guess this is him explaining, like, there is a surge coming, one that cannot be tamed, and it will not die down. It is coming with one sole purpose, and that is to wipe out and annihilate what we have come to know as the entertainment industry. The storm is not like one you've seen before. Just like in the dream, as I was sensing the storm coming, it didn't make any sense at all. Rather than blowing winds, it was sucking winds. Rather than a tornado, it was like a big vacuum, and it sucked everything up and shrunk shrunk everything. It sucked the life out of everything in its path. And he's saying, like, the same is true for the storm that is headed towards the entertainment industry. It is internal. Right now, I am causing a stirring within the industry itself as I am removing people. Just look at the I don't even know if I want to say that. I guess pay attention to public figures in the entertainment industry, and their deaths, and what is that a coincidence or not? He's saying, like, there will be more, and you will notice more public figures being taken down in the coming days. You will be shocked by who you see and the mess that they find themselves wrapped up in. The time has come for the playing fields to be leveled, and for my church and my remnant and my faithful sons and daughters who love me to be raised up so that they can glorify my name rather than the names of the public figures that you have been seeing and hearing about for so long. The storm coming to the music industry is a bit of a different storm compared to the one coming for like the big office, like movie theater kind of companies. The music industry, so I feel like that's kind of why he was talking about like the band members were for music, is they will be spared, but everything else will be completely rewritten. I like the word that he said there, like it will be rewritten. I will need new actors and actresses who have fully submitted themselves to me. I will need new singers and songwriters who will sing for me. I will need new authors and publishers who will write for me. I will need new performers who will perform for me. I am rewriting the stars of Hollywood. I'm like, wow, God, like that's so good. That's so good. And I didn't write it down there, but he kind of gave me later that the rewriting of the stars of Hollywood is, the star plaques that they like put on the sidewalk or in the cement. I don't really know how it works, but like all of the celebrities get their own star. I feel like that's what God's saying is like he's rewriting the stars of Hollywood, who he has deemed as the stars of Hollywood are going to look different, and they're going to be his children. He's going to start raising up his sons and daughters who have fully submitted to him, and you're going to start to see them come out more and more in the entertainment industry, in the music industry, and like that is like the atmosphere that is changing, is he is rewriting what it looks like to be a celebrity, because right now I feel like there's just so much lustful, almost idolatry over these people, not God. And like he's rewriting that. Like he is a jealous God. We are not to serve other idols. We are not to have idolatry in our heart. And so like he is rewriting what that looks like. And the people that will be in the spotlight, he will turn the spotlight to them, and the people that will be in the spotlight will be the ones that give him the glory. Will be the ones that draw people closer to Jesus rather than further away from him. So I feel like he said the storm will suck the life out of the movie industry, just like the sucking winds in the dream. And the truth will be exposing the rest of the entertainment industry, and that's when you'll see people start to run. Like I started to see them in the dream, people were just running and scattering everywhere. He's like, you will see people from all over the entertainment industry start running, and that's when you'll know that the time is close. He's like, I've been preparing the way for my children for a while now, though you didn't know it. When you begin to see people running and the industry lose its fandom, and there is mass chaos in the streets of Hollywood and LA, then you will know that I am not far behind in pushing my children towards the spotlight. So he's like, if this resonates with you, what he's telling, like, continue to push forward in doing what I've called you to do. Since you are working for me and living for me and you are rooted in my love, you will be safe from all of this. Even if when it looks bad, you can rest easy and remain in my peace knowing that you will be safe. Because I know in my heart I was getting, if I'm, having this call towards this industry, then like why in the world would God be leading me into like a trap, That's what it's been feeling like. And he's saying like, no, I'm rewriting it. It's going to look different. It's going to feel different. I'm not leading you into a trap. So continue working where he's been telling you to work. And he's going to bring you into a world that will work for you. God's saying, like, I will save you from the dangers and the darkness that the prior world has lived in, but I will also help you find and discover yourself as well. So it's kind of like on the self-discovery process as well, as you're working through getting to know who you are and what you are and the gifts that God is calling you, like it's leading you towards that industry. And like it's okay. It's okay if that's what you're feeling. This is this draw or this call towards this industry, because right now it looks bad and it doesn't look like it's something we would want to be a part of. But he's rewriting it, and as he's rewriting it, he's going to want you. He's going to need you to help him rebuild what this looks like. And so that's what he was saying, is like the part about the alternate world where this lady said that she could transfer our consciousnesses into this, like, I don't know, this other world, is about rebuilding the industry. But as he's rebuilding it this time, he's going to build it his own way. He's going to build it like God's way, firm foundation. He's saying, like, we will be spared the fate of the rest of Hollywood and the entertainment industry, but he will need our help rebuilding it. Just like the people running in the dream, they were outside and couldn't outrun their fate. They couldn't outrun it. They could never escape what they had done. But inside the building, I had felt calm and safe, even though I knew, like, the world was ending, and it was, like, dangerously close to me. But I knew that, like, I would be able to survive in this new world that this lady had created. And so he said, along with many of my other children, we will rebuild the entertainment world, and it will save all of you as well. In the process of rebuilding this new world, you will find yourself, discover yourself in new ways, and from there you will be able to help many other people find themselves as well. The last part I feel like he threw in there, with this gospel album from this music band that hasn't really been in the Christian music industry. He was saying it is foreshadowing of what the new industry will look like. My children's love for me will be on public display for all to see. There might be some familiar old faces who have changed their ways, and they may be able to come back into the industry, and you'll see them with gospel albums and a new love for me. You will also see the music industry explode with gospel albums and people singing my praises far and wide. People you never would have thought would love me will be proclaiming their love for me in a public way. The music industry will set the tune for the new entertainment industry, and it will be with my praises being sung at the forefront of it. So I just feel like that's a really weighty word, and it's so timely for myself as well. So I'm wondering if it is for someone else as well, that God is rewriting what the entertainment industry looks like, and if you are feeling a call towards that you can know that He's not going to throw you in the fire. He's in the process of reworking it and rewriting it, and but to be ready and to be prepared and to continue working where He's calling you to work, because at the moment He has deemed it, He's going to need you. He's going to need all of His children that He is raising up to be able to rebuild this and to bring His creativity to the earth. And I really feel like that's what the Lord's talking about, is God is so creative. He is so imaginative, and I mean, He created the world, He created us, He created animals, He created nature. I mean, He is just He's got to be the most creative being that you could experience. And so we don't need the kind of industry that we have right now. We're not going to be losing out on that, because He's going to replace it. He's going to rebuild it with His creativity, with His insight, with His ideas that He has given to His children in this time period, and we're going to be the ones that are building it up. We're going to be the ones that are creating this, and that it's going to be okay. The feeling I'm getting is it's going to be a little scary, and it's going to be a little messy, and things are going to happen. And to know that those things are happening because God is a God of justice. He is a just God. He is angered. I think we forget that. He is easily angered when He sees His children being manipulated and used as pawns from the devil. And I think I feel like this is Him saying He's had enough, and He's done with it. And it's time to take back what is God's, and what He will always intended for this industry to look like. Unfortunately, just kind of got pushed away over the course of these years, however long it's been. And I feel like God's saying, I'm taking it back for me, and it's His time. So I guess that's all for now. I hope that you found some of these dreams encouraging. I pray that you yourself have more than the ability to ask for dreams from the Lord, and that He loves to share His insight with you in all of these different ways, through words, through feelings, through dreams, through hearing His voice, through all of our senses. The Lord gave them to us so He can speak to us. So I would just encourage you that if there's something that that you want to hear from the Lord, be open to Him giving it to you in any of those ways. Maybe it's through your sight, maybe it's a vision, maybe it's something you're feeling in your body, maybe it's something you're hearing. He can use songs, He can use movies, he can use anything that He wants to, and just to be open to that and to be susceptible to it. That He's a good God, and He loves His children, and He wants to be with you. He wants to communicate with you. And so I guess I pray that you would hear God's heart in all of this, and that if I pray that you would take each one of these words to the Lord, and that He would, further um, clarify it for you, and give you your own insight and your own wisdom and discernment on what these things could be for you. Um, and again, I guess just thank you for joining me and being a part of this journey with me as I, continue to branch out and continue to share what the Lord has. And I pray that it blesses each and every one of you. And above all, I really pray that it would bring you closer to Jesus, and that you would find your own personal relationship with Him, and what that looks like for you. And that we just get to go out into the world and love everybody, and just be expectant of what the Lord is about to do. Be blessed.